Hi, I'm Jason. I've never made a fly tying video before, so I thought I would do that for you guys today. I started fly fishing several years ago. I am by no means great. I have fun. I started in Texas, moved to Tennessee, lived there for several years, fishing on the Clinch River at Norris Dam and Nance Ferry. I'm going to tie a fly today that I used to make in Tennessee. I've moved to California now, my wife and I. But this is a fly that I used to tie when I was in Tennessee based off of a small fly that I used to see on the river. It is not off of a recipe by any means. It's just one that I came up with. I often tie things that I just come up with rather than off a recipe, although I enjoy recipes as well. So this is a fly that I saw. It's interesting that it was also the colors for University of Tennessee, orange and white, basically. So today I'll be using, this just so happens to be a Mustad R30 dry fly hook. It's a very small hook. That's the kind of stuff they eat up there. I'll be using white thread. This happens to be 3/0. That's a little heavy for that small hook, but I'll just make less turns. Be better to use something thinner, but I don't have any right now. So I will be using some regular orange sewing thread, Tennessee orange in this case, not that old Texas burnt orange junk. I'll be using this nasty junk hackle. I'll be using it for the tail, and I'll be using a nicer hackle for the actual hackle. I've got a piece here already. So we start with the hook and the vise. I'll press the barb down. I fished quite a bit in Tennessee. Since we've been in California, I haven't fished hardly any. Haven't found a good place yet. We're here in the Bay Area in Richmond. Okay, I've got the fly tied in the vise. Let me move this down so you can see me. By the way, favorite movie? Quiet Man. Favorite college? Texas A&M. College I went to? Texas State. Start with the white. Let's fill the hook. Touching turns. Cut off the junk. Start with, again, that junk hackle that I had. I'm going to pull off some barbs here to use as tail. Now this fly, even though I'm tying it on a dry hook, it doesn't have to stay dry when you throw it. I find a lot of times dry flies, if they're not eating them, I start pulling them underwater, getting them wet, and the fish start taking them underneath the water instead. So I'm going to make the tail about the same length as the hook. Put that on there. Pretty typical of a dry fly. Pinch. Tie that in a couple of turns. Again, we don't want to tie too many turns because this is thick thread. I'm gonna go ahead and tie down a little bit and build this up. Doesn't need to be too big, but I just like a little bit thicker fly. Get that off. Okay, work my way back down. Now this fly that I'm tying, the one that I saw on the river, had a little bit of an orange butt to it. So there was the tail, or I decided to do it with the tail, a little bit of an orange butt with the orange thread here. So I'll tie that in. Stop right there. I'll go ahead and wrap the thread around the tail part here, touching turns again. Just fill that body up. Apologize for the lighting. This is a very old light in this room. Not very bright. Oops. I'll tie that in. A couple of turns. And I'll trim off the orange, the extra. I'm also by no means a professional fly tyer, as you can see, but I enjoy it. I actually started tying flies before I started fly fishing. That's how I got into the thing. My granddad fly fished and my mom fly fished. I never picked it up as a kid, but I certainly enjoyed it whenever I got to fish with my mom. Fairly recently, the last good outing that I had, I caught a big catfish, oddly enough. So now I'm going to tie in my hackle. I believe when I used to do it, when I used to tie these, I tied them with white. Do this backwards. I'm going to fluff out the hackle. Just snip off the end, make it easy to tie in. Like this. Like it is. And then I will do a couple turns. Go ahead and go down towards the head. Now, this does not need to be thick enough to necessarily hold the fly up. You can do it that way if you'd like. Like I said, often I would just pull the fly underwater anyway for the fish to tantalize them. So I'm just gonna kind of try to work these feathers back so they'll stand away from the way I'm wrapping. But again, it doesn't really matter a ton. Just take a few turns. Yeah, this feather is a little bit darker than I'd like, but it'll do the job for now. You never can tell what they're going to eat over there. They can be very finicky. They can eat the tiniest little nymph pattern, little midge, ants, corn. Of course you don't tie corn pattern, but I'm sure somebody does. So that's pretty much it. Take a few turns. Again, it doesn't have to stand up too well, but you want it to look okay. Still want it to look cool when you stick it on your hat, if nothing else. So take a few turns, finish the head here. Do a half hitch. Tie this off the way I saw Dave Camus do it on YouTube, because that's where I learned how to tie flies. 1, 2, bring it down, keep it out of the feathers, a couple more turns. Oops. 1, 2. I find this to be a good way to tie off. It's not your typical, but I find that it stays tied just as well. Okay, cut that off. I just use clear nail polish. Where am I at? There we go. This is not a plug for the brand. It's just the cheapest stuff I saw at Target. I need to get a needle on there because this is a little bit big, but a little nail polish on the head. And I like to put my feather remnants, I like to run them through the eye after I'm done, just to make sure that it's clear. Pull it through like that. Clean up a little piece here. And there's finished fly. Now, in this light, there you go, you can see the orange a little bit. Right behind the hackles, there's the orange there and the white tail. So it's a fun little fly, real easy. I've only got a couple of these small flies left. Don't really fish with the small stuff anymore, not that small anyway. But there is my Tennessee orange butt fly. Don't know what else to call it. Alright, hopefully I'll do another video soon. Hope you enjoyed it.